This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big updates to share with you when it comes to stimulus and rebates. Those are still going out. We'll go over the latest articles like this. $400 to help with energy bills going to millions of Americans, and 5 must-know facts about the 4th stimulus check. And the exact date, a one-time payment worth up to $250 will be sent to 3.2 million Americans. And we've seen what the Democrats are doing about inflation and trying to help that. I'll give you the Republican perspective of what they would do about it. I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So millions of Americans getting up to $400 to help with energy bills. See if your state is on the list. So first state up, customers can get a rebate gift card worth up to $200 if a smart thermostat is installed. And then we have California. Looks like customers in San Diego and Electric, looks like they are getting an up to $64 credit, and the total savings could be $128, and the rebate is in addition to a $43 credit for natural gas customers given earlier this year by the California Public Utilities Commission. Then Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, looks like the utility supplier has already assisted 1,100 Indiana households with their energy bills, worth about $260,000. Additional $100,000 in aid is going out there. And then with Ohio and Kentucky, the assistance is worth $300, $400, and $300 in those states respectively. So $300 and $400 in Ohio, $300 in Kentucky. And then Ohio again here, looks like there is some assistance that could be done through HEAP, which is the Home Energy Assistance Summer Crisis Program. And depending on how much money you have in your household, the deadline to apply is by September 30th to get some aid there with your electric bill in Ohio. And yeah, it looks like on a federal level, there isn't much going on right now. But yeah, those are the states that are giving out money for energy and electric and utility. And then stimulus update, 5 must-know facts about a 4th stimulus check. So we'll go over these facts. So look, federal stimulus checks won't be coming before the election. So election is in November. A federal stimulus check not likely to happen before then. I agree with that statement. I don't think it's going to happen, but worsening economic conditions would likely be necessary for another stimulus check. So when it came to the 2001 and 2008 recession, looks like that is when they had stimulus checks both in 2001 and 2008. So if the economy gets worse, inflation is still high, and a recession is officially announced, looks like we could get a federal stimulus check that way. And then parents are more likely than non-parents to get more stimulus money from the federal government. So when it comes to the federal government, sorry, I just had to wipe my nose, doing this all in one shot here. So parents are more likely than non-parents to get more stimulus money from the federal government. So basically, unfortunately, if you have kids and a family, you get more money than those that don't have. For example, senior citizens, SSI, SSDI, veterans, that whole group of people who are struggling really hard, unfortunately, aren't getting advantages like the child tax credit, earned income tax credit, things like that usually help out kids. Or if you have kids. Almost half of all states are sending stimulus checks or have done so already. So we're not seeing it on a federal level, but states are sending out stimulus checks. And towns and counties, like before I shared a Elk Grove town in Illinois giving out $200 checks or $200 gift cards. So we're seeing a lot of things like that on a town, city, county, and state level, and you may still be owed money from the last payments. So yeah, if you haven't gotten your stimulus check yet, you could still claim that. Basically what it's saying here. And then exact date, one-time direct payment worth up to $250 will be sent to 3.2 million Americans. This is going on in the state of Virginia, and it looks like the one-time payment of $250 will be sent out September 19th, which is only 5 days away if you live in Virginia. So yeah, that's that. And then Democrats celebrate, or actually before I get to this, if you appreciate how I gave you the facts, let you know all that stimulus news up front, let you know the sources, and didn't ramble on too much. Subscribe to the channel if you appreciate that type of thing. Next up, Democrats celebrate inflation reduction bill as stocks tumble on latest data. So yeah, President Biden held a celebration at the White House for signing the Inflation Reduction Act, but it wasn't the best timing. It was when the inflation news came out that inflation is still high, stocks were going down. It just wasn't the best timing. But take a look at the Republican perspective on that and what could be better for the economy.
Let's bring in Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy. Senator, about half an hour from now, there's going to be a grand event on the South Lawn of the White House. President Biden tweeted about it earlier today, saying, quote, "Exactly 4 weeks ago, I signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law, so today we're celebrating." Tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Time as I deliver remarks and welcome the leaders and advocates who made it happen to the People's House. When you look at the CPI numbers today, higher than expected. When you look at the increase from last month, when you look at the increase in core inflation from last month, is there a lot to celebrate, in your opinion?
Well, the White House, any White House, can always find a handful of economists to prostitute themselves and say anything the White House tells them to say. I will note that two prominent Democratic economists, Mr. Summers, Mr. Furman, have both said that inflation is gutting the American people like a fish. Certainly the stock market, the capital markets, as you pointed out, John, are not impressed with the Inflation Reduction Act because they're crashing, they meaning the markets. Look, this is what the Inflation Reduction Act did. It took $250 billion out of the pockets of the American people at a time when the economy is slowing, prices are rising, and 401ks are crashing, and gave that money to the Green New Deal industrial complex, which is going to spend that money in a way that will cause energy prices to rise without reducing world temperatures a smidgen of a degree. And it represents a gross misallocation of capital. And we're seeing that reflected in the capital markets, the stock markets today.
The press secretary just took a few questions on this. She was challenged on the Dow falling as a result of this. Really, a real warning about the American economy and where inflation is going from here. But still, she says we're going to hear from the president a short time ago, who said this is reason for celebration. Listen.
For some time now, when it comes to his number one economic priority is to deal with inflation, is to make sure that we are lowering costs for Americans, for the American people, for American families, Americans who have to come around the table, once a month in particular to figure out how are they going to pay those bills. Again, this is why the event that we're having in less than 45 minutes to celebrate and talk about, you'll hear from the president about the Inflation Reduction Act, is so critical. That is why Democrats and this president did the hard work to get that done, is to lower costs on healthcare, to lower cost on prescription drugs, and also energy costs as well.
To be clear, we've had the White House on this program, Senator, and asked them what exactly will this do to the inflation everybody's experiencing? And by their own estimates, talking to economists, they're still only touting that it'll bring down inflation a small fraction of a percentage point. I mean, so we're not really talking about bringing prices down big time. And if the president, to her point, is prioritizing inflation, and this is where we are today, someone should tell him it's not working.
Well, I know the president is going to speak in a little bit, but frankly, every time the president speaks, he shows us how much he doesn't know. I don't dislike the president. Is he a perfect person? No. Does he try to get better every day? Also no. And therein lies the problem. The inflation that we have today was made in Washington. It was made by the Biden administration. And the things that they have been doing are going to make it worse. The Inflation Reduction Act raises taxes, once again, with prices rising and an economy slowing. He didn't forgive student debt. He just transferred that student debt from people who owe it to people who don't owe it. It's a massive expenditure, reduction of income, and all of this, if you talk to economists other than those that just prostitute themselves to a Democratic president, they will tell you that the president does not have a plan to solve the inflation problem that he himself created. And the Inflation Reduction Bill, I know why they called it that, but unless you still live with your parents, you know that the Inflation Reduction Act is a throat punch to the American people at a time when they can least afford to take the blow.
It's our understanding, Senator, that the president is going to have some not-so-kind words for you and your Republican colleagues for not supporting this act. Apparently, he's also going to single, not you particularly, but Republicans out for opposing the hiring of 87,000 IRS agents, which are critical to this plan. What do you say?
Well, I say that the Internal Revenue Service is not exactly a model of efficiency. I can't think of an agency in Washington that's more dysfunctional. They're going to spend that money to hire 87,000 people, not to improve service to the American people, but to target them. And to give you an idea of how many people they're adding after President Biden gets through with growing the IRS will have more soldiers or agents than the Israeli army. And some say the entire army in Great Britain. And I don't think they're there to try to make our lives better. They're going to try to raise taxes indirectly on the American people, the middle class, by auditing them, and when the people can't afford to defend themselves, hiring a lawyer, they're just going to collect all this extra money and give it to the Green New Deal.
What are your thoughts on what Senator Kennedy has to say? Do you agree, disagree? And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing when you feel sad, you have to do something that you really want to make you feel better or make you feel true. Or you can also, if you help somebody, then you'll feel even better or something. Or if something's really into you and you're really feeling good, you should do that as well. Bye, this is Bella. This was the tip of the day.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. If you like how I get to the point and all that, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And today is swim day for Bella. So we got swim lessons in a little bit. Gonna see if I could squeeze in a little pickleball in the evening after dinner. But anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.